Assalamualaikum guys, we're here joined for our 2019 fall Islam season. I got myself, Sama Midi, along with Abdul-Wahab and Hannan. It's going to be an exciting day. We've got a lot of players, about 98 players that are going to be drafted today. The draft's taking place in the background for us. Let's start off with Abdul-Wahab. Abdul-Wahab, what are the vibes today that you're getting?
It looks like it's, the last couple of years, there's been a lot of talent that's joined. Looks like this session is no exception, and it should be exciting. A lot of talent to go through and analyze. It'll be interesting to see how the teams shake out by the end of it.
I think one of the things we're seeing this year, at least this season, is that we do have a lot of depth on the defensive line, which is absolutely intense, because what we're going to be thinking here is that there's going to be less of a offensive-minded team and there's going to be a defensive core alongside with very powerful goalies that will be playing this season. So it's going to be a lot for all these GMs to think about how they want to be shaping their teams and at what point they want to be drafting the forwards versus the defensemen as they move through the draft.
That's fantastic. Let us hear about Hannan from you. You just recently got married as well. So, do you think are you coming in pumped in with like trying to score a lot of goals this season, or are you going to be taking it easy?
No, absolutely. I actually think, and not just myself. I think because of the season, at least this season, we don't have that many players playing this. I think it's 13 rounds in total. So a lot of players are going to be seeing a lot more play time, and that's where your cardio is going to be a huge factor, at least especially this season, where just like the summer season, you're going to get a lot of playing time. And honestly, this is what I say is to a lot of the players is that this is the time to make a big impact because of all these minutes you're getting. This is the time to shine and show you can do what you can do. Because come winter season, when we do have more depth and more players coming through, like that's your time to move up in the tiers, move up in the whatever position you're going to be playing and what line you're going to be playing in.
That's good. Abdul-Wahab, you didn't play last season. What are your thoughts? Are you in shape?
We'll find out. Since you're asking, I have a bit of a gut. So I'm hoping.
I think what Hob is trying to say is that round is a shape. So yes, he is indeed in shape.
That is the right answer.
Yeah, I think I see a couple of guys that have got into shape. Arif Khan played a really good season last summer, or just past summer.
I saw him holding a trophy. I don't know what trophy that was. Was it MVP or?
I think it was.
I think it was a Slum Cup. If I was not mistaken, Arif Khan.
Elder Statesman of the year.
Yeah, he looked. He put on an extra edge after the Salam Cup. So he looks like he's in good shape. His other buddy, another Hab fan, Ali Murtaza, also put up a lot of goals. He looks like he's in good shape and scoring a lot of goals. I wish this was live. You could hear that on live, and But yeah, I see a lot of guys coming back. Amal was a good find last year. Amal Asmatiyar, Ajmal's brother. He's got just beautiful hands. Like he's an ice hockey player. I think moves the puck better than anybody else in the league right now.
I think right now, I was thinking maybe a good time, just because you have a little bit more analysis on some of the GMs right now, is let's go through the GMs, see what who they are, try to get a sense of where you believe they will be playing position-wise, and let's start looking at who they're drafting for the first round.
Yeah, I think let's start with the first one. Hamoudi, I played with Hamoudi so many years. I think Hamoudi's a character guy.
Yep.
Picks guys based on character, so I would not be surprised. He played with Zubair in the 2 seasons ago when they won a championship together, so not surprised. But I think that pick might be up for sale because Zubair and Luqman are really, really good close friends as well, so there could be some back and forth there.
You truly think that Hamoudi would trade Zubair? I believe that's the number 1 pick overall?
Well, Hamoudi did trade Rizwan Malik. Well, it was more of a pickup, but I really think that Zubair could be up for a trade. I know he's the number 1 pick overall, but if the deal from Luqman is pretty solid, then it could happen. It depends on what's coming back.
Okay, so with that said, if that's now that we know Zubair is the number 1 pick, let's move on to number 2.
Yeah, so no surprise, Mohammad Qazi picked the hottest player right now in Islam, Daoud Siomber. Daoud's won a Salam Cup. Daoud won the championship last
Daoud was the GM last season, and he took his team to the victory. So they did win the cup last season, which is
no surprises there. Yeah. I mean, we don't have to say much about Daoud. He's just championship, material.
So Daoud is a forward player, from my understanding. It says so you can definitely see him being on the top line for that team.
Daoud's just the good thing about Daoud is that Daoud has a very deceiving shot.
Yep.
It's not the quickest shot. It's not the hardest shot. It's just very deceiving, and a lot of goalies can't seem to figure him out. So that's why he's there to go score goals. So he's got to score goals.
All right, and what do we have for round number 3?
Round number 3, we Farouk Sani picked Imad Khwaja. Imad Khwaja, fantastic combination of size and skill. I mean, it's like, you think about like Eric Lindros, Malkin, that type of thing. I mean, you have a lot of skilled players on this board, but with that kind of size, I don't think anyone has got that combination. And I believe one thing that many people might know is that he actually lost some weight. He lost some weight, and he's very much in shape. And I think we've heard that in years past, he was a fantastic, even better player than what we know now.
Yes.
You've seen of him now. So if he couldn't come back to that, then that might be maybe the best player in this list.
Which is impressive for me, because I feel like for the first overall pick, that was a strong defense pick, and the second pick that we saw with Daoud was a strong offensive pick, and with Imad, we're looking at a strong, well-rounded pick, a player who usually is playing forward, but will run back. You have a two-way player in Imad.
See, I think the thing with Imad is that he's a very dominant player. He likes to dominate things. He likes to carry the ball in his hands. So when you're playing with that kind of thing, remember, Farouk Sani's a passer and Imad's a scorer. So that's what Sani's thinking in his head. He's like, okay, I'm more of a passer. So he's like the Mitch Marner. He wanted somebody that could be the Tavares, and Imad Khwaja is basically the Tavares. Then we go to Lukman, and his pick is his old childhood friend Aqib Malik, and no introductions needed for Aqib. He usually plays center, but he can play pretty much any position. And Lukman, when he knew that Zubair was gone, he had to go with somebody he was familiar with, and they've played together many seasons. So great pick for Lukman. Again, they also won a championship together as well. And then we get it to Ajmal, and Ajmal, I think, picked Yusuf Ingar. I believe there was a trade made initially, but I believe the pick right now that Ajmal has is Yusuf. My understanding is that they may have made a trade with this. I don't know if this list is updated, but my understanding is Ajmal traded to get Daoud, and Yusuf Ingar went back to Mohammad Ghazi. So Malton kids were united, and Ajmal went with the greatest scorer Iceland's seen in the last few years.
How important is chemistry in these kind of trades that you're seeing? Like a lot of times, a lot of players who are looking from the outside in would probably say that, this side is heavily favored in a trade. But with that type of understanding of what we know in terms of you mentioned Aqib Malik and Lukman being childhood friends, that chemistry, how important is that factor in these type of trades?
Oh, I think it's a lot. I mean, with the Malton guys, you can see that the tic-tac-toe is there, but they just don't necessarily have the finish.
Yep.
I think with Iceland guys, that the championship team that Daoud won, they knew exactly where everybody was. Now it's slightly different because some of the guys who were GMs together now playing against each other, so that's going to be different. I think it all depends, in my opinion.
Yep.
If you have WhatsApp, there's a WhatsApp group for us to all share.
Oh, perfect.
Rumors and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get
It's nice.
Let's move on to the next.
don't be looking at your phone all the time.
Yeah, let's go on to the next one, which is Mazhar. And Mazhar, no surprises, picked Adil Chauhan. To me, I think Adil Chauhan's the best player in this entire list.
Okay.
I don't know how he dropped back, but my thing is he's probably not. A lot of guys might not be familiar with Adil Chauhan. He plays with the Green Army, with Wakar and Sodagar. So it could be a Sodagar thing here, or it could just be that the familiarity wasn't there. But Adil Chauhan's probably the best player in this list.
What position does he play?
He plays defense for the Green Army, but I believe in this league he's probably going to play more of a center role.
Okay.
Again, depends on how things go. Mazhar obviously knows who Adil is, so that was no surprise. Then we go to Arsalan Mia, and he picked his homeboy Umer Hossain. Umer Hossain's a very gifted player. The only thing he scored weak on was endurance.
Yeah.
So Umer knows that he can score, he can pass, but can he play a shift that's 3 minutes long? That's the number one thing. And maybe Arsalan's probably like, well, I'm a young guy, so I can probably play 60 minutes, and I just need Umer to score a bunch of goals. This draft, we've got some really good goalies.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy scoring.
Has any and do we see any goalies going in that first round thus far?
There's no goalies in the first round. I see the next round. I expect Razabat and Zakaria to go within the next 10 picks.
And in terms of depth with the goalies, are we familiar with every single goalie? Are we looking
Pretty
at
much.
strong goalies all across the board?
Yes, I think we're pretty much familiar with all the goalies. There's one more Malton goalie, I believe, Abdul Samad, similar to my name as well, Musa Abdul Samad, I believe. But I don't think there's much difference between the third goalie and the eighth goalie.
Yep.
I think
But
the first two.
You think there's a top two?
Yeah, there's a top two. There's definitely a top two. Now, keep in mind,
Sorry, who are the top two?
Razabat and Zakaria. Now, Fahad Mohammed is actually not playing as a goalie. He would have been a top
Yes.
two goalie, but he's playing as a defenseman this season.
So Reza Butt and
Zakaria.
okay.
Those are the top two goalies. So no surprise if those two go first.
Yep.
Now, I think Razabat's probably more experienced, and Zakaria is probably more younger. So again, it's going to be competition. So it depends how that goes. We're going to move to the final pick. Ali Wadi picked, again, everybody going with their green, their favorite. So Rizwan Khalil, another Greenbirds guy, so got picked. Again, he was also a top pick last season as well, or the seasons before last season.
Right.
So no surprises there. Rizwan can pass, shoot, all-round player.
So are you seeing right now a trend in terms of what direction a lot of these GMs are going in? Like for your first pick, I mean, a lot of times do you find GMs who are defense picking forwards, or are they just picking someone who they just complement them on the defensive line? Or are you seeing GMs who typically play forward picking someone to play on their wing, or are they looking to strengthen their defensive core because they know that they'll captain the front line and they want to pick their first pick to be someone to captain their defensive line?
I think they're going with the best player available. I don't think at this point they're thinking too much just because there's too many off. Like I don't see any like defensemen, but
Right. It's just talent. At
Talent,
This point.
whatever
It's
is the
like you're
best
just
player
going for
available.
talent. We're at it.
I'll get into the three players that should be picked next, in my opinion.
Okay,
It
go
should be
for it.
Saman Khalid, it should be Abdul Manjra, and it should be Arsal Shahabuddin. They should be in that order. But this is all dependent upon how GMs think. They cannot hear us.
Yeah.
But this is essentially that's supposed to happen. Now, there could be some picks here and there. There's some sleeper picks in this draft that we don't know much about. But every year we get to know a little bit more, and then as it comes along, then you find out.
I have a question about these sleeper picks though, because I've always been curious about it in the sense that if a GM is well aware that, hey, this player is a sleeper pick,
Yeah.
how much are they going to risk before they actually commit to actually drafting them at a certain round?
I think what's going to happen is, number one thing is that if the sleeper pick gets picked, they're going to just play it cool
Yep.
and say that, hey, this is a Martin thing, or it's a Scarborough thing, or a Ajax thing.
Yep.
And they're going to try to use that way to pick that kid up.
Okay.
So
like,
the only two guys that know the sleeper picks are Arslan Mia
Yeah.
and Mohammad Ghazi.
Right.
Everybody else is pretty much older, so they're not going to know the 18-year-olds or the 17-year-olds or the 19-year-olds.
Right.
Those are the only two guys that know. So if you see trades happening, it's definitely coming from Mohammad Ghazi and it's definitely coming from Arslan Mia. I can 100% guarantee you that.
You do find a lot of like in-house trading where if two guys are from Malton, they'll end up swapping players amongst each other, or you think they're more familiar with their crowd in the sense that they know the value of their pick and that they're not willing to trade it because they're almost afraid that the other GM from Malton might see something different than they do?
I think we haven't seen a season in which the best skill team has won.
Right.
So I think a lot of players know, because remember, all the best players want the ball to themselves. They want to be able to carry the ball. They want to be able to finish off, right?
Yeah.
So that's not going to be that's as you know, we're playing in a smaller arena, which is smaller than what we played before. So speed is not going to be such a factor anymore.
Okay.
What I think is going to be a factor is positioning. I think what's going to be a factor is how much stamina you have, your face-offs. We've seen teams that won last 2 seasons were good on face-offs. So that's going to be important because goalies don't like that.
Yeah.
Our goalies that played before, they don't like this quick off the draw and boom, shot in. That's how the season played last season. Literally, it was like 45 degrees hot.
Right.
And guys just weren't able to comprehend the heat. So that's what I said. Endurance is going to be a factor. Stamina is going to be a factor. Everybody's skill set, I think, after this first 2 rounds, pretty much is similar all the way to the 95th pick.
And I'm curious to hear from you, Wahab, because in the past, at least with the first season I joined here, you were a GM and you ended up, I believe, winning that season. And you drafted a sleeper pick in Maz and his brother. I was wondering, one, did you know how great Maz was when you drafted him? And if you did, were you hesitant to draft him so late? Were you thinking there was a risk in that factor?
Yes. Well, first, just to correct the record, we didn't win that year.
Oh, okay, my fault.
Did.
But you guys went really far, and I remember just like you guys were just.
We did.
Yeah.
We had Maz, and so that actually, that is a very good question. I was thinking about that when you brought it up with Samad. I played pickup with Maz that summer.
Okay.
I don't know who he was. I just noticed that, and I don't think he even did showed a lot of skills that we saw later.
Okay.
But I just noticed every time he was on a team, it would the floor would tilt in that team's favor, right? Just almost instantly. And he was making everybody around him better. So I just thought he was a really good talent. I didn't even know that his brother was like that good. Fahad was that good.
Wow.
But I knew he was probably that year going to be probably the best player. Probably.
Nice.
And yes, I had the option of drafting him a little later because no one knew about him. But one fellow GM said something about him that he saw he's good or his brother's really good, and they were a package deal that year.
Yeah.
In terms of picks, and I got scared. And I didn't want to take any risk, and I picked him right away. But someone made a good point. I probably could have flipped for him.
Do you remember what round you ended up picking him at?
I picked him first. I picked him in the first round.
First round?
6th or 7th overall, yeah.
Oh,
I think the
I
deal
picked
was that you needed to go get Fahad at the same time as well, and you were just honest. So you're like, okay, I'm just gonna.
Yeah, the part of it was fear. Part of it was, we probably would. It would have been really unfair if I picked Maz like the last round or late. He was clearly like the top 2-3 player in that.
Right.
In that.
The other interesting thing is that draft, if you remember, Hamza Ali had not matured as yet as a player. I'm talking Hamza, it was a little Hamza we called
the fast one.
He was on
his
upswing.
incline, but he was picked second, third round at that time.
Yes.
And then that season was the season that kind of gave birth to his elite status. Like he can actually play.
I believe he still played with Dawood that season as well, right? Because I think that's where we saw the dynamic duo.
I was in that team, so I picked the Umer at the left. So I remember. And what's interesting is that he matured as a player in that, and Dawood also matured as they both learned from each other, and they co-GM'd after that.
Nice.
So.
And I want to talk a little bit about co-GMing then, because right now, as we can see, typically speaking in Iceland, we do see co-GMs leading the charge. And now, obviously, for this season, we have one GM, and now you would think the first pick that they pick overall is going to be someone they want as second in command, so that you do have two people, one person to bounce ideas off of the other person to lead the charge. In terms of that sense, because for everyone else's record, originally this season was supposed to be co-GM'd, and then it ended up falling so that there was only one GM each. What value is there in that first pick? And do you believe that, I think personally speaking, that every first pick there is someone, outside of just talent, it's someone that you can also bounce ideas off of. What do you think of the dynamic duo right now in terms of what looks like the biggest dynamic duo from that first round pick?
I particularly don't see much difference in the sense that
you think just everyone is just like really strong right now? Is that you got a good GM?
I think so. Yeah. I don't think the potential to.
There's no edge one way or another.
Yeah. Everybody's pretty balanced right now.
Yeah.
I think whoever picked Adil Chauhan probably has little bit more edge just because the finesse you're gonna get with him is gonna be another level. Dawood obviously he's won champions. He's in a hot streak right now.
Yeah.
Yusuf Ingar did not have the best season last season. Just going back to our draft, Omar Hussain could have done better.
Yeah.
Not the best shape right now. Akib had a good season, but I didn't see him in the summer, so some of those guys are also not the youngest anymore.
Yep.
Though I'm not sure how old Akib is, but when you're comparing Akib to, let's say, Dawood is 25 and like prime shape of his life.
Yep.
So Akib's probably a smarter player out of the two, but Dawood's just his ability to be on the floor 6 minutes in a row is going to make a difference.
Now, 6 minutes in a row. So that
I'm just
that's-
making an example.
But how often, like, do you think like some of these top talents should be playing in terms of minutes at a single time? How long do you feel these shifts should be with the current draft we have?
Personally, for myself,
go for it.
I think if the first line's playing, it's better that they both exit at the same time. Not necessarily minutes, they can play 5 minutes if they have the legs to play. I just don't think that, in my opinion, it's unfair when GMs are targeting other teams' third lines and putting their first line, and then it just kind of mess up the pair. We know that your first line players can play big elite minutes.
Yeah.
But when you're playing and matching against another team's third line, again, if guys are missing, that's different. When you do that, what does that tell you about me?
But do you not believe in maybe spreading the depth around, making sure that instead of having one like ultimate first line, is there any value in ensuring that you have some of your core players on the second, trickling into the second line as well?
It would be amazing, but I don't know how many people follow that.
Yeah.
When we've played before, I think what happens is it's all good in practice, it's all good in theory. When it actually comes down to it, when you're down 1-0 or 2-0, you're going to see GMs try to target other teams' third lines.
Yeah.
And what actually ends up happening is those third line guys end up playing very minimal minutes because the other rival GMs targeting a strategy that's dedicated to do that. And we've seen that in the past.
Yeah.
No names mentioned, but it happens. So
I just want to clarify, just to cut you off a little bit. Right now, we are still pending to see the next draft picks. They're just finalizing the order, I believe, right now. And once that gets started, we'll continue going over the draft picks. And right now, we're just kind of theorizing a lot of these things. And I find it really exciting just because every season, every time you have a new GM in place, you have a new leader in place. And do you find that when you play with new GMs, like how exciting is that compared to playing with GMs you played in the past? Do you find it like, is it something that you always look forward to just to see like who they are and how they react as a GM? Like Wahab, I know you've played both GM and player. Like, do you find that you yourself, your mentality changes depending on what role you're playing in?
Yeah. As a GM, you definitely feel a little more responsibility, a little more pressure to set a good example, right?
Yeah.
In some ways, I think team is following your lead. Other people might be more vocal, but and so, you definitely feel responsibility. You pick the players. You are given the chance to set the tone. So it's definitely different. Yeah.
And just sorry to just cut you off. It looks like we have a trade made. Samit, if you want to go over that.
it's a bit confusing just because we can't see the names or we can't see.
Well, I have it here. So it looks like, if I'm understanding, Mohamed Kazi is trading his first, third, and fourth pick for Ajmal's first, second, and fourth pick. So first, third, and fourth for first, second, and fourth.
There's also another piece of information that's not posted.
Yep.
I'm not guessing here, but you can let the viewers know that Farooq Sani, he's actually not drafting right now because he's out of the country.
Yeah.
So Fahad is drafting for him.
So if you guys didn't hear that, Farooq Sani, GM, is because he's out of the country right now, has Fahad drafting for on his behalf.
So in order for that to happen, Fahad has to be on the team. So the GMs have come to a consensus that he will be the 51st pick for the team, so that we know he's on that team.
Yeah.
Interesting.
He's not playing goalie.
He's not playing goalie. He's going to be playing out.
Yeah. So there is value in that because he's not playing goalie. I feel if he was playing goalie, there may be a few questions or concerns having something like that happen.
Oh,
because,
for sure. He's such a good goalie. Yeah, for sure.
He's like the best back.
Yeah. So he can't. I don't think he can play goalie. Just to recap, I don't know if everyone heard that, but Fahad is going to be on Farooq's team because Farooq is out of town on his, I think, 4th or 5th vacation this year, and the league has allowed Fahad to draft for him, and also because of that, he has to be on his team, and will be, I think, 60. What do you say? 60.
51st.
51st. Yeah. So
51st.
somewhere in the middle, mid rounds. Fahad is playing out. He will not be playing goalie this year, and I personally have seen Fahad play out. He's getting better, but he's definitely someone who, that's a fair designation for him.
Dawood also got traded, I think. This morning.
Dawood got traded?
Yes.
Yeah, it was traded this morning.
This is going to be interesting.
As I already mentioned that he was traded by.
You did. Yeah, you did.
Yeah, by what's it
right.
called, Ajmal, to get he's in for Ajmal, and Mohamed Kazi got Yusuf Ingard just to make the Malton United.
Some of these pre-drafts are actually so that the people in that room can pick together and stuff.
Got it. So a lot of these first picks that you're seeing, it sounds like a lot of those players are also here today, present live, making these draft picks, which is why you're seeing certain picks. A lot of these GMs have already, tunnel visioned into a certain pick, and they're and then making sure once they have that pick, they're able to work with their partners to make sure that they can figure out how they want to build the rest of the team. This is probably because of the fact that they were GMs in pair, and now that it's just a single GM, it is taking a little bit more time than it usually would to start formulating how you want to build your team.
Yeah, I noticed a couple of last-minute additions. Just going to mention they're pretty good players. Bilal Hafiz, we didn't see his name last night, but I think last couple of registration spots came up. So Bilal Hafiz, outstanding defenseman. He's playing. I believe this was a last-minute, like I said, last day pickup. So
Yep.
Solid should be a good. Anybody looking for a first-line D, you've got Bilal Hafiz, and he's in prime shape. Nobody has to talk about that because he's a personal trainer himself. There is Tayyab Kaler as well. And I believe that's the son of Wasim Kaler, if I'm not mistaken, or that's nephew of Wasim. Again, really solid player. I saw him the last couple of years. Somebody, for whatever reason, indicated that he's a fourth-line player, but he's not a first-line player. So I've just corrected that in the draft sheet. And yeah, I think he'll be good. Arif Bijabai, as we refer to him as Jesus, he's back.
Where did the nickname come from by chance? You want to explain?
I think he grew a pretty long hairstyle with a beard a couple of years ago.
Who's this?
Arif Bijabai.
Oh, he did, yeah.
And he developed that nickname.
They call him Jesus, yeah.
Yeah, so...
Now, I played with RF 2 seasons ago, because summer season, neither RF or myself played. And a lot of people felt that his game fell off during that season, which is odd because the season prior to that, he had won the championship, I believe, with the team that he was with. Do you
know how many he's won? Sorry,
no. I'm not saying that he's a bad player whatsoever.
Do you know how many he's won?
I believe 7, 8. Yeah, 7, 8.
8 championships.
I only know this because every time he takes a picture after he wins a cup, he puts up how many he's won at that.
I would too.
So he is a good luck charm in that sense. Yeah. But do you find that players, especially now that summer season's over and a lot of players didn't play in summer season, that players fluctuate in terms of their cardio and the amount of exercise they're doing between seasons, or the fact that a lot of players are off during the summer season?
That could be part of it. Sometimes I think a lot of it's up here. A lot of it's up here right in the head.
Any media personality in the room, guys? All of them?
Yeah, so we're rudely interrupted by...
One is asking for media people because he thinks that we know more about the players than he does.
Oh, so if you guys didn't hear that, Lukman's been asking for some of the media guys to come into the room to assist because...
that's fine. Maybe I think they should come here and do it on camera.
Oh yeah, that'd be. But don't you feel that's a little bit
transparency?
Do you feel like they were exposing Lukman now, saying that maybe he doesn't know how to wear as much depth?
Well, I'm talking to 5 GMs right now through my WhatsApp, so can't say who, but it's.
It feels like I'm saying next to
Darren Drager right now.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Here's a live update. By the way, let's talk about that.
Elliot Friedman actually broke the Marner news.
Actually, no, it was Darren Drager live. It was Darren Drager. It was recorded. Darren Drager has reported the Austin Matthews contract. The Mitch Marner contract and William Nylander contract.
Yeah.
3 seconds before.
They say he works for the team, basically. That's what
so you're basically the Iceland version.
No. I'm not anything like Drager. Drager is another level. I'm probably more like Chris Johnson.
For
Sportsnet, but what's interesting is going to the Leafs for 1 second. It's like the media cannot function if there's no news from the Leafs. All the revenue is generated dependent upon the Maple Leafs news. Now that that's over, the next thing is going to be, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about Morgan Riley contract. Or already I'm hearing news about Freddie Anderson's contract.
Well, speaking of goalies and news, I just got news from our rumor department that the first goalie has been selected.
Oh, right. As predicted by... You know who predicted that the Razabad's going to be going next?
Was it you, Summit?
Yes, absolutely.
You gave us 2 goalies, and is that it? Is that who's being
picked? The Razabad was going to be the first.
How good is this guy?
Well, so that's the second round we're talking about. He was already picked.
Okay, let me ask you. Would you know how he would compare to, say, Fahad Mohammed or Ali?
Very comparable. I would say very, 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 very similar style, but probably
so
just...
Fahad would go around that point.
Probably would go. And with that said, we are starting to start the second round with all the picks coming through. So with the first goalie picked already. What does that put pressure onto the other teams in the sense that?
Well, Zakaria has to be the next goalie that's going to get picked. So either, like I said, within the next 10 picks, I would see Raza and Zakaria get picked.
Yeah.
Raza got picked first. Now, what's interesting is Arslan Mia just picked for his second pick selection Abdul-Wahab. Abdul-Wahab was the first pick last.
That's exactly what I'm thinking. Was it 2 seasons ago?
2 seasons ago,
he
Abdul-Wahab
was the first overall pick, and
Right.
now he's being picked on the second round.
Right.
Second pick in the second round.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So why did he drop in value so heavily? Is it because the depth this season is a lot more, or is it just that he didn't panned out to be what people expected?
I think there was questions about him being picked first overall that year.
It was thanks to me that he got perfect picture.
So you oversold him. You oversold him.
I oversold it, but he won a championship.
So
he
5 GMs, you oversold it. Did he win the championship that season?
He won the championship that season. And he got picked first.
Oh wow, okay. So he was definitely came as
In the playoffs,
delivered.
he did not score a lot regular season. Playoffs, it was a different
I do
story.
recall him being very quiet during the regular season.
So next pick is announced by Mazhar,
That's
and he has picked Rizwan Hassan.
Where was he on the board? He
So
was,
Mazhar was the one that picked Adil Chohan first round as well.
That's right.
Okay.
So again, a solid veteran pick. I believe Rizwan's father also had recently passed away, so
Okay.
he's he's coming off a bit of a tough time, but I think good to see him back in the draft. And
What
all the
position
best.
does he play?
Rizwan plays, I believe, he's a forward.
he can do
He can
both.
play both.
He can play both.
But I guess as years go by,
Yeah.
he's probably gonna.
It's
He was
interesting.
very good at one time.
It's interesting because who's the GM for there? Is that Mazhar Hussein? you
Mazhar
said?
Hussein.
Yeah.
So right
That's
now,
Yassir's brother.
his 2 picks thus far have been players who can play both defense and offense. So
Yes.
he's going with a very flexible.
Now keep in mind, Mazhar is one are solid snipers,
Yep,
not
yep.
the quickest guys. They picked Adil Chauhan, who's probably the quickest guy.
Yep.
And so the strategy is, if Adil can just do a Mitch Marner, then
Yep.
he just has to pass it to guys who are going to just snipe.
Yeah,
So
he needs people to finish, but
that's
he'll
it.
do all the dirty work.
He's going to do all the dirty work.
Beautiful. Do we have the next pick?
Yes.
Yeah, we have a few actually.
So the next pick, as predicted,
Yep.
Saman Khalid has been picked next. And like I said, I don't understand why Saman Khalid got picked late. The only reason I can think of is because of him being a doctor. He might have some commitments
Yep.
with the hospital, and some days he might not be there. So that's the only thing I think. Again, solid pick. He plays D. I don't know if he wants to play D in this season, but let's go default that he's going to play D. Mohammad Qazi did play with him, I believe, a couple of seasons ago. So again, he's probably looking to pair that out. Again, solid pick there.
Then we have Omar Asawi for Lukman's team, 13th.
Omar Osavi obviously led the team, led the league in scoring last season. So that's no surprise.
I don't know a lot about Omar Asawi.
So
can you give us and the viewers?
He's
like,
got probably
some
a
sort
very
of-
good snapshot, positioning very sound,
what's
plays
a
a very
comparable,
clean.
like a comparable, maybe
In-
either
Interesting,
Farouk Khan.
Yeah.
Farouk
So
Khan.
interesting is that he started, I believe, 2-3 seasons ago. He came in, he was a low pick. He actually didn't do too much in that season,
Right.
but he also admitted that he was not in shape. And come summer season, where he had more play time, he actually was able to shine, and he was
Playing
definitely
time.
playing time. He had the playing time, but he also had the cardio to justify it as well.
Right.
And I think that's where he started to shine, and people saw the value of him, and that's why he's picked second round this time.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, he played a long time ago too, but I think obviously with school and life, you get busy. So again, no surprise there. We'll go to the 14th pick, and the 14th pick.
Naim Akhtar.
Yeah, I could not understand it. Either Naim goes early or he goes in the middle.
And that's, so for anyone that didn't hear, that was Naeem Akhtar. That was
Yeah, went at 14th.
Right. Saqib just
you
came in the
know-
room asking why he's not picked yet.
Yeah.
Naeem's got a
Actually.
huge shot. I think there is definitely Imad and him there's some connection there, which we've seen that pick up. But Rizwan Hassan has.
You'll see that as we keep going down the rounds, that the more it goes to like the second to fifth round players, what we're finding is that a lot of players, and this is where the value in Iceland comes, where you play with certain players, that you'll see certain players that you feel should be picked higher than others.
Yeah.
But you never know. A lot of these GMs, they have a strategy in mind, and they might be focusing on a certain development stage where they want to focus on either defense or offense.
Okay, let's go 15th. Kader Motiawala being picked by Mohammad Qazi. Again, it's a Malton kid.
Have you heard about? There's
I
some
heard
rumors
I
that
heard he's a really good. Yeah, I heard he's a
Yeah.
really
Is
good
this
player.
one of the sleeper picks that we're talking about here?
From what I understand, yes, but I haven't seen him personally, so I'm not sure.
One thing is, it's Moti Wala, I guess. If it's not like we were reading this yesterday, it's
Right.
Moti, like
He's the
diamond.
he's the diamond.
yeah.
He's
He's the
Not
diamond in
Mota.
the diamond in the rough.
Not Mota, not Mota.
Is that right?
Mota is what a lot of the players are coming in this season is going to be like.
16th, no surprise. Like as I was mentioning, Hamoudi and Farouk Khan are joined at the hips.
Yep.
Every season they're together. So Hamoudi went with familiarity, and then he picked with his next pick, Riaz Lasagna.
Can you tell us more about, one of you tell us more about Riaz Lasagna?
So Riaz played, I believe, a couple of seasons ago. He played with the Malton kids.
Yep.
And then obviously he was being part of the Green Army guys
He's
as
younger.
well, if I'm not mistaken.
One of their
Core Green Army players.
So he's one of these up-and-coming young Thundercats who somehow broke it into the first top 3 rounds.
Thundercats, good one, yeah.
Yeah, he's a very safe player, and he played in Tier 1 long time ago when we used to have Tier 1. Now over the years, some of these young Thundercats are not so young anymore. So the legs catch up, just like RF Khan.
Yep.
You know, he's not 31 anymore. He's 33.
But
so
speaking of health and safety, you know,
Right.
I just want to remind everyone, like this season especially, there is going to be enforcement of having visors.
It was
on.
there last season.
It was there last season, and
yeah.
it's still going to be here this season as well. So a lot of players find it uncomfortable to play with visors. So you never know. People's games can change for the better or for the worse, and we'll see how that plays out. Do we have the next pick?
yeah. So the 18th pick, I believe, is
Bilal Hafiz.
Bilal Hafiz. So as I mentioned, this was just a matter of time.
Who picked him?
Ajmal Asmatiyar from Ehsan. Again, so Ajmal being a forward, Dawood being a forward, they've now gone with a defenseman.
Yep.
Once Farouk Khan got picked, it was pretty obvious that the next one was going to be Bilal Hafiz.
Right.
Although, what I'm surprised, are you guys surprised that Arsal hasn't been picked yet?
Arslan.
Arsal
Arsal
Shahabuddin
yeah,
has not been
that's-
picked.
He's a defenseman, right?
He's a
He's a
very
really good
solid
defenseman. He's a
defenseman.
he's a ball carrier too,
Yeah,
right?
ball carrier and a very safe defenseman has not been picked yet.
I'm very surprised
I'm
too
very,
about
very,
that,
very, very
'cause
surprised.
I thought Farouk would have picked actually.
Yeah. Sometimes GMs just forget that there's a guy like that available.
Yeah,
So we have 2 goalies picked thus far, or just the one?
just one.
Just one? Okay.
Now, the next pick, let's move on to the Farouk Sani's team. So after picking Imad Khwaja, Naeem Akhtar, they have gone 19th, Arif Bijabai.
Oh, we were just talking
We
about
were
him.
just talking about RF Bijabai, right?
Yeah.
Jesus. So
And he
Jesus-
plays really well with Farouk Sani, I find. As much as I talked about RF's game not being on point 2 seasons ago, I've seen him and Farouk Sani play together, and it's honestly an amazing duo that they have there. Almost like a Hamza Ali and Dawood style, right? There's certain players that are like that, where, you know, you have that one player you play with, and it enhances both players' game.
Yeah, they have a chemistry.
Yeah.
RF is a streaky player. If he's hot, he'll score like in 5-6 goals.
Yep.
When he's cold, you can see the body language.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
he's probably one of those guys that, depending on if he's been playing or not, but he's always has a smile on his face. So
Nice.
I like to see that. 20th, Luqman goes with familiarity. He won with Sufyan Sheikh. Now,
He's the younger.
Sufyan is the guy that got his knee
yeah.
injured a couple of seasons ago when he was leading the league. So interesting thing with
yeah.
Sufyan was he's a phenomenal player when he's not injured. But then when he suffered that injury, he wasn't the same player. Again, knee injuries are pretty bad, but he can carry the ball. He can play pretty safe.
A lot of people think Sufyan Sheikh is built like a house of cards. You know, it looks beautiful. Sometimes it does great wonders, but you know, there's times where, you know, he needs to understand that it's his safety comes first too, right? Like, he's a great player, and that's why he's getting a lot of points. But at the cost of putting your body at risk, like, you don't want that in a recreational league. Like, at the end of the day, as long as he's not being detrimental to his team by being injured, like, I think he'll do great this season.
Yep, fair enough. 21 is my favorite, Irfan Bana Patel. Now, what's interesting is when you look at Irfan, EBP, did he score last season? If I'm not mistaken, he had 5. He led the league in goal posts.
Goal posts.
Goal posts.
They keep that stat now?
Yeah, I keep that stat. But what's interesting is even though
Music to his ears.
he didn't score, he was getting good looks.
Yeah.
So this is not a player that's, you know, kind of declined in that sense. He just had an off season with regards to sniping.
Yeah.
But he was getting good looks. He was getting open looks.
He's a point producer.
He's a point producer,
Every
right?
season, he's going to be producing points
Right.
for you, and you can expect a certain consistency from him, which is hard to say with a lot of players.
I like the fact Ajmal's gone with 2 snipers, Dawood Umer and Irfan Bana Patel. Could
Yeah.
you imagine both right shots?
Yeah.
This is going to be a nightmare for goalies to handle.
With that said, I'm actually surprised Irfan was picked after RF, because I find out, like you said, RF can be either really good or he could be really
missed-
flaky.
Right. Yeah, no, like I said, yeah, and Irfan's a similar player.
Yeah.
He just has to know that he has to relax himself and kind of go with that.
I know we were talking about young Thundercats before, but you want to talk about this next pick?
Abrar Gangat.
Yeah.
Abrar, we've played against him a couple of times. He's a solid kid. I like
I
his
mean,
attitude.
yeah,
I like him. He's always smiling. He's a bigger kid. He's not
Yeah.
smaller. In his Facebook picture, he looks very skinny.
Yeah.
Which could be from 7 years ago.
Some say he's abandoned as a team a few times, you know, like sometimes he won't show up to games. So, you know, it's a lot to say about some of the GMs picking up this player because I feel like Abrar plays better when he plays with people he knows. And this may be one of those things where the GMs are familiar with him and, you know they can put him in control. He's, you know, he's like a beast. As long as you keep him on a good leash, like you got a solid player.
Right.
So he's got more talent than guys picked before him, but it's the fact that
I think he's got talent. He's got good stick handling. He's got a good shot, and you know, like I said, I think with his team, he has a positive attitude with his team.
Right.
It's just he may be one of those players that may have a temper, and I think that's one of the things you want to make sure doesn't get your team in trouble, where he either gets a suspension or ends up in the penalty box.
Right. Okay, let's move on to finally Arsenal Shahabuddin gets picked at 23rd. I think this team looks good. I like Umer. I like Omar Hussein.
So what is that team? Give me the full list of that team right now.
Arslan Mia
Yep.
has Omar Hussein.
Yep.
Abdurrahim Manjra.
Yep.
Who was the first overall pick last year.
Yeah.
Not last year, two sessions ago. Arsenal Shahabuddin.
Yeah, Arsenal's probably the
That's
top,
amazing.
Top
That
top
team
three
looks
team.
deadly
I don't understand
in
how he
itself
dropped to
already.
23.
Yeah.
But I mean,
I don't get it.
You never know. That's a solid pickup, and you know what? Like that's you can already see from those at least first 3 picks, and plus the GM, like you can see a dynamic first line coming together right there and there.
yeah.
It's just a matter of what they do for the second and third line because you can't just continue relying on your first line. And if they want to spread that wealth, as I mentioned, to some of the second line players, so that you can create more depth on your team.
If I were to just pause there and just see the strategy of guys now,
Yeah.
it looks pretty obvious.
Well, are we missing one more pick, or is that the last pick for that round?
No,
there's one more.
Or do we have 2 more picks for that round? I think.
No.
Well,
I think
Zafar
this-
is the next.
Zafar
Zafar
yeah.
Rashid got picked by Ali Wadi, again, a Greenbird player.
Yep. Do a little bit more detail on that.
Ali Wadi is just going, I don't know, I haven't seen much, but my understanding is Ali Wadi at this point is just going with Greenbirds. Whoever's familiarity with Greenbirds.
Yeah.
Chemistry, like you said, he at this point, it's not much about.
Now, are they shooting themselves in the foot by going with familiarity? Are they not aware of the depth within the Iceland League right now, or is it more of a we trust this player?
No, I think it's I don't think Ali's familiar with that.
He just
Ali.
joined the league, I think, 2 sessions ago.
Okay.
Saman Khalid does this. I was discussing this with someone recently. Saman Khalid isn't a GM this year, but the years he has GM'd, he takes Wakar and whatever, so that definitely helps. But he goes with a lot of like requests and people that he knows, and he does pretty well.
What?
So that whole question about the familiarity and the cohesiveness of people that already know each other.
Yeah.
If you were to pause right now, let's take a look at Hamoudi's team. 3 out of 4 defensemen.
Yep.
First, then you look at Mohammad Qazi. You get 2 defensemen. So 2 forwards, 2 defensemen. Farooq Sani, pretty much 4 forwards.
Yep.
Lukman, basically 1 defenseman, 3 forwards. Ajmal, 1 defenseman, 3 forwards. Mazhar, flexible players. I don't think there's a defenseman or a forward for sure. Arslan Mia has gone with all forwards.
Yeah.
1 defenseman, Arslan. And Ali Wadi has gone with no defenseman yet.
I think
All
the one
forwards.
good thing I think this season, because there's not many players per team, I mean, I think we're missing just 1 or 2. What's happening is that you can get away with 3 solid defensemen before you can start fixating on getting your offensive side rounded out.
Right.
And and that's the value in having a limited number of players, because I can guarantee you most teams, especially with players not showing up, most teams are going to be running with 4 defensemen max. And when that happens, as long as you have 3 to 4 core defense that you can rely on, you're letting your forwards, and you're basically going to trust your forwards to get the job done. And I do believe that one of the great values for the first and last picks is that you end up getting 2 picks back to back. And I do believe another round. Who's the last pick then for that round?
This last pick was Zafar Rashid, but the next round 4, they have Ali Wadi has gone with Ittisham Qureshi forward.
Okay, forward.
Yeah.
So someone like, I want to get your take on that. Where sometimes when you get back-to-back picks like that, you don't have to be like, oh, do I want this player or that player? You can end up getting 2 picks side back-to-back. And does it matter at that point where would you have preferred them picking up another defenseman, or is that forward pick up a solid pick?
I think if you don't have a strategy, then you just go with the best whoever you think is going to benefit your team character-wise or skill-wise. I think look at Hamoudi. So he doesn't have a pick till after 17. Doesn't have a pick till 32.
Yep.
If the cream of the draft, he believes, is between 1 to 17,
Yeah.
and after that there's a drop off, his thinking is that it doesn't matter if I pick 32, 25, 47, you're going to get a similar player.
Yeah.
In this draft, I think he's wrong.
Right.
I think the debt can go all the way till probably 40, 45. So that just could mean just that, because he drafted first.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he has to now wait after the 17 pick to wait till 32. Then you get 32, 33.
Yeah.
So I would, if I'm a GM, I'm looking to basically draft most of my players between the 10 to 30 range, because that's what's going to set me apart from the 40, 50, 60s. But there's not much, there's a lot of debt here, as I said, all the way to 45.
Yep.
Just to move on, we're going to start the new round, which is...
Well, we already started that round with...
Okay.
Yeah.
The next one is Arslan Mia.
And sorry, for everyone's sake, this is round 4.
Round 4.
Yeah.
26th pick, Arslan Mia has picked Zakaria Bandaisha.
Yeah, so that's the goalie, I believe, if I'm not
goalie?
mistaken. Actually,
Doesn't
there's
say
two
goalie.
Zakaria.
Doesn't say goalie
Let me
there,
just make sure there's...
Yeah, just want to double check that if we got the goalie. I think
yeah, it is a goalie.
It is a goalie?
Yeah.
Very nice. So we do see the second goalie to take. And as you mentioned, these were the two goalies that you did predict would go first and second.
As I said...
Very nice, very nice. So now, with that said, how is that team shaping up? Now that they have a solid goalie and they picked up, was it Arsal as their defenseman, they have Abdul-Rahim Mandra as their forward and Umer as their forward. Arslan Mian looks like he's basically missing just one more player for that perfect.
This is a championship winning team right now. Arslan Mian has put up together. As I mentioned, the kids that know the most in this league are Arslan Mian and Mohammad Ghazi.
Yeah.
But the way it stands right now is Arslan Mian has picked up probably this, like as I said, the first or second best goalie, and he has a well-rounded 4 guys. So your first line's has to score and win you championships.
Yep.
If you get the best goalie and you get the top 4 guys, and you're going to score 3-4 goals of those guys, then there's, as good as it is, it can also work against you, because if those guys don't score, they get injured or whatever happens, the pressure's then going to fall on the second, third line.
Yep.
And I don't know how much depth he's going to have by the time he drafts them.
Perfect.
So
who do we have next? Let's go a little bit quickly.
Let's go. Mazhar Hussain has picked Taha Azhar.
A defenseman, solid defenseman,
Yeah,
reliable.
he likes to play D.
he's probably one of the quicker guys in the
He's
league.
quicker guy,
Doesn't have the elite finish
Yep.
or the shot, but has the legs.
He has the legs. At this point, we're looking at. It seems like we're starting to drift into players that have at least one weakness. You can say where they're not as this is perfectly well rounded, or this person's an absolute bomb on the forward line. It's now a player where they're good, but they're missing one more factor to make them a top 3 round pick.
That's right. So the next pick is Medina, this is the 4th round, has picked Muhammad Abdul-Samad at 28th.
Medina being it's like an Eastern-Western conference where we have Medina and Mecca. So what's the actual team?
Sorry. Iman.
Mohammad Ghazi's team.
Has picked Mohammad Ghazi's team has picked Muhammad Abdul-Samad.
So he's, I believe, the goalie for Malton, and he plays in the gym league with the same guys. So this is somebody who's
a goalie?
friend.
Sorry, you said
he's a
he was a
goalie.
goalie?
Muhammad Abdul-Samad is a goalie.
Okay.
And he's been picked by guys who he's familiar with. So again, this is someone that is familiar with everybody.
Yep.
So this team is going with that. Only person, like I said, they don't know much is Saman Khalid.
Okay. And who's next?
29th, Luqman Arshid's team, Haya. Salim Malik.
Salim Malik. Okay.
Salim Malik, I'll jump in on this one. Really good player. It's just that one year he had to go overseas, missed a lot of games. And the more recent thing, which might be more concerning, is he was having a really good year with White. I think a couple of years ago.
White would be Yakin.
Yakin?
Yeah.
Eventual championship team. He had a back issue. He actually had a hat trick just a game or two before that. He had a back issue that took him out completely.
Well, sometimes, it's painful when you have to carry your team. So hopefully this time around, Salim Malik doesn't have to rely on just his own skills.
I mean, that team was pretty good. I don't know. I don't know what it is. But if he's healthy, then he's a good pick there. But it's a bit of a risky pick there.
And who do we have next?
30th, Farouk Sani has gone With what he knows.
Foot doctor.
And the foot doctor, apparently, Suleiman, orthopedist, right? That's what they call
Yeah,
him.
sorry.
I know this. Suleiman Bhatti at 30th.
Salam Bhatti was a sleeper pick 2 seasons ago, and he's been scoring since then. He didn't have the best season last season, but
He seems like a player who plays well if someone can feed him the
Yeah.
ball.
Like Maz?
Yes, exactly what I was thinking. He has played with Maz and he's done
like Maz,
extremely
yeah.
well.
Yeah.
So the question is that who is he going to be playing on his line and who's going to be feeding them the ball? Not to say that he's not good doing what he does as well, but like I said, at the end of the day, he's one of those players where you feed him and you will get you the points.
He's a finisher. Okay, the next one is 31. Amal Asmatia goes to his brother's team, Ajmal Team Hassan.
Is this due to, he owes his brother a pick, or is he actually that good?
No, what I understand is that he was missing a couple of games. I don't know how truthful that is, but he's one of the solid players that he should not have gone 31 if he was missing games. He probably is a top 10 pick. Plays ice hockey, has very quick hands.
Very nice.
So
Okay.
Yeah. 32. Vasim Kaghzi was picked by Mohammed Hamoud's team, Team Sabar. 32.
solid defenseman.
I heard he's got. Is he the one with the fantastic shot?
He's got a very good shot.
I heard he's got the
Wasim
best shot.
Kaghzi and plays solid, has good energy,
Yeah.
very good defensively.
Perfect. So right now that would round out the first not 5 picks, but that's 5 players per team right now that we're seeing thus far. And I know we are starting to move on to the next round, but because the 5 players have been picked, actually, you know what? I want to do it on the 6th round because some players do have GMs goalies. So I think let's go on to round 6 and then try to do a little bit of an analysis.
Okay.
In terms of what's going on for each team.
Okay, so I think we've covered all of that round. So the next pick for round 5, Mohammed Hamoud's Team Sabar picks Fahad Panchbaya.
Fahad Panchbaya.
Yeah.
I think that
Or-
looks like a very early pick for Fahad to get picked up, given the depth in the draft.
Did Hamoudi play with Fahad last
no,
season?
I don't think he's ever.
Okay.
I think that he played with one of the Panchbayas maybe in the past.
Maybe is it
and,
now?
and,
Is
and
it
that
maybe
was
a
Fahan
case?
Panchbaya maybe.
Is this a case of maybe he picked the wrong Panchbaya?
Yeah, I think he picked the wrong Panchbaya. But that's okay. You know what? He's a solid. He's a solid
Oh,
guy.
no,
Everybody
that's
respects
bad.
Fahad.
Yeah,
He's a
yeah.
great character guy. And like I said, Hamoudi picks guys based on character.
Yeah.
He doesn't pick guys based on skill. So if that's the case, then maybe Hamoudi picked him based on he wants a good dressing room, solid dressing, clean dressing room, and wants guys to.
A clean dressing room. So you're saying some of these players are dirty in the dressing room?
No, I mean, not saying dirty.
No
I think just
showering,
clean.
no deodorant, like, what are we talking
Hamoudi
about?
accidentally broke. Was it Hamoudi or Habibi? One of them broke the tap last season. By
Tap,
accident.
okay.
It was a water flood all over the place.
There you go. And you don't want that kind of attitude in your locker room because it's bad enough that you're getting ready for a game, but having to deal with a flood and thinking about the quality of your clothing after a game, you can't have that. And I honestly, I can understand why Hamoud would pick that kind of pick.
34th, Saqib Kokar. That's Mohammed Ghazi's team. Team Iman has picked Saqib Kokar, speedy winger.
I would like to see Naeem's reaction to Saqib because Saqib said that Naeem sucks.
Well, I know he didn't say he sucked. He just
No, you
said
know
that
what?
he
We
didn't
were-
feel that he should have gone that
We
high.
weren't sure if the camera or the audio picked it up, but
Yeah.
now thanks
Well,
for
now it
making
definitely picked it up.
but just wanted to make sure Naeem knows that. I work with Naeem in the same
that's
office,
true.
right? So
Okay, there you
I'll
go.
just make
So
sure
you'll
I
definitely let him
remind
know
Naeem.
in person.
Oh.
So the interesting thing about that pick is Saqib is coming off an injury as well. Solid player overall, but that injury may have cost him as much of the quality as we
Who,
all think.
Saqib?
Saqib Kokar, yeah, he got
Oh,
injured.
I
By the way,
know
just
that.
to start with everybody, why isn't Abdul Sharkafi picked yet?
No, that's a good question.
Has anyone
I
not
don't
hearing
know.
us? Where's
We'll see.
I'm a fan.
We still have time to go. Let's go through the rest of the round
I don't know
6.
if you guys noticed, but one of the teams,
Yeah.
they picked Zubair and they picked Riaz, right?
I don't think we
yeah,
got to
that was
Zidane.
Hamoudi.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
that's a very smart pick because back in the day, those two in Montreal
Oh.
were defense partners.
Oh.
Speaking of Montreal, Ali Murtaza has not been picked, and Arif Khan has not been picked.
Yeah.
All right, but let's talk about who has been
Okay,
picked.
okay. So Saqib Kokar, what is it? So 35. We have Talib Contractor. Farouk picks his buddy Talib Contractor. I know a little bit about him. Very good motor, excellent motor, very fit. He's got like a
Great name, by the way.
great name. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's a contract.
He's a contractor.
Contractor,
Maybe he's
yeah.
just here part time to help Islam out, but you can
Yeah.
expect the job to get done.
Really
That's
good-
all we're gonna say.
Yeah, really good guy. This team is big. I'm just noticing now. Other than Farouk,
Are we talking about like? Are we talking about like
lengthwise.
the team is like a bulky
physically,
team?
Iman is
Physically
like
team?
6'3",
With the exception of
6'4".
Farooq Sani?
Yeah, I just said that.
Everybody's 8 feet tall.
Yeah, everybody's like 6'2", 6'3" plus. Talib's not a little kid either.
Talib's 6.
But Sani plays like 6 foot.
Sani plays like a big man.
Sani,
He's
Sa-
a big
yeah,
man.
Sani's the Mitch Marner in this.
Yeah.
Perfect. Who do we have next?
Another big guy. Sadat Malik is picked by Lukman's team. That's understood.
Salim and Sadat are brothers,
Team
so
Hayat.
so that I think was probably pre-decided.
Pre-decided, yeah.
Yeah, plus being
And
a Malik.
plus,
Sadat-
it might be a
Sadat-
bit of a
yeah.
reach.
There's
Sadat,
there's four
uh,
Maliks in the team.
yeah.
Lukman being the honorary Malik.
I've
He
seen.
is, yeah.
I haven't played with Sadat Malik a lot, but I have seen him, and he's a big figure, so you can't really miss him. And you know, he is a solid defenseman in terms of he has the body. He can bully people off of the ball. But like I said, we are starting to get into the picks where there's certain things you would ask for your player to do more so. And I think one of the things for Sadat Malik would be you'd want more of a finesse in his shot, because I think at that point, if you have a bullet shot from that point, it'd make him a very solid defenseman at that point. Not to say he already isn't.
I think we caught up pretty. So we have now the next pick. Next two picks were goalies.
Nice. So
Next, the 37th pick by Ajmal Asmatiyar, Team Nissan, is Yusuf Kapoor. Then we had the next team, Mazhar Hussain, Team Ikhlas, picking 38 Yasser Hussain.
So it's interesting because
Yusuf before Yasser. I find
yeah,
that,
but not even just that, because we are on round 6, and this is the part where you can think in your mindset. You're thinking these GMs have already picked their entire first line, and now they want to lock in that GM, and then start working to figure out their second and third line. Because right now, from what my understanding is that would be 4 goalies have been picked. Am I correct?
Yeah.
That means there's 4 goalies left. If you were the other 4 teams who haven't picked your goalie, what is in your mindset at this point? Is your mentality that I should still continue picking because I still see depth in the draft, or should I start locking down a goalie?
I've seen both extremes where teams have picked a goalie really
Yep.
early, and I've seen where teams didn't care about the goalie, they picked whatever was left.
Yep.
And I have not seen both of those backfire.
No, okay.
I feel probably being a little more not moderate, but just not going so extreme with
Yep.
your goalie selection is probably better, but you never know. I mean, there's always outliers.
I'm just so shocked right now that Tayyip Kalar is not picked yet. It just boggles my mind that.
Like I said, there could be a lot of depth, but you're also looking at first.
Maybe
If we're talking
people
about
don't
first
know.
line,
I don't know about
Yeah,
that
now think
either.
about this, Summit.
I don't know
This
about
is we're in round 6. Remember, are these players that you're mentioning first line players?
Yep.
Are they the solid second line carry?
I think Tayyip's. I've seen Tayyip play. He's a first line player.
You think he's a first line player compared to okay?
He's just a kid that nobody knows, but he's like Hamza
just
Ali.
a small town boy living
But
in.
He's a kid. He's son of.
Rizwan would know, right?
Rizwan will know. I'm pretty sure
Maybe they're
that
holding
they're holding on. They don't think anybody else
Maybe
knows.
it's coming right here at 40.
Yeah, at 40, he probably could be.
Yeah. So we'll discuss the pick before we see this pick come up. It's actually about to come up right now.
Yeah.
Let's do a bet. A little side bet on Tayyip Kalar. No.
Oh, he went.
Anyway,
he's
so-
being reserved.
Okay, so 39 was Omar Mahmoud, older guy.
No, he played really well.
Omar Mahmoud's really
Omar
good.
Mahmoud is a very talented player.
I think there was one game where he played the entire game.
Yeah.
It was only had 2
Wow.
defensemen.
It's all.
You're thinking about the wrong guy. He's a young kid, young guy.
Oh, not Omar
He just
Mahmoud.
looked.
Not
No,
Omar Mahmoud.
no. There's
Oh,
Omar Mahmoud.
My bad.
Not Omar Muhammad.
Omar Mahmoud got picked
He had a
39.
breakout season last year.
Breakout season last year.
And very solid positionally.
Solid positionally.
Interesting. So that's. I mean, you know what? That's the great thing. What is that? Is that still round 6?
That's still right.
Let's. I think there's one more pick for round 6. Right?
Sahel Mohammed, Naveed Mohammed's son, probably on D, I would guess. He was D with on my team a couple of years ago, and I like his game. I don't know if physically that's the only thing. As he gets more mature, he's still.
I feel like he's too young in the sense that I feel like it's very easy to knock him off the ball. But like I said, he is a solid defenseman. But at the end of the day, I personally think there are. It depends. I don't know how much depth we have on the defensive line now. Like if we're starting to go to Sahil and all these other players.
But then when you get someone like Arif Khan on your team, does it really matter? Like
So that's the interesting thing is that pick with Sahil is a back-to-back pick, and they also picked up Arif Khan.
Arif Khan.
So and that's Ali Wadi's team.
Arif.
So
Talking about myself.
How does it feel to be picked?
Back in Greenberg's.
How do you feel? What are your thoughts?
How does it feel to be back in a team that's Greenberg's?
So before
There's
we
Salam
ask,
Cup
before we
team.
ask Arif, remember this is now we are starting the 7th round. This is 7 players now that Ali has picked. So looking at that team, he's already got his goalie. So you can tell right now one of those players that he picked is going on to that second line. Are they expecting Arif Khan to center or wing on that second line?
No, I think they know exactly how Arif Khan plays. So Arif is going to be there for.
Is he a first line player?
No,
on that
he's
team?
not playing first line minutes.
So is he playing the second? So he's a second line.
He's a second line.
So
winger.
he's the
He could play first line on this team, no?
No, I think they're going to try to keep.
I think it's 50 to 60%.
You got to remember that pick is basically saying that out of all, for your second line, I believe Arif Khan is the best second line pick out there with the current players available.
He can dominate if he's playing on the second line,
Yeah.
but if he's playing on the first line, then you're not going to get the same effect.
Yeah. Also, remember, I played with Arif Khan too. I think you need to play with. He needs to play with certain players. There's certain style of players that he plays with, and that can also give him that opportunity to give off that really nice wrister.
I'll put it this way: if you put Arif with Ali Murtaza, that's a probably the best second line.
You never know. I mean, it's going to be what 13 more picks before they can start picking again.
I'm just surprised
You
that-
think Ali Murtaza
yeah.
will be gone by then, right?
Yeah, I still don't see Tayyab, and that's just
Okay. Well, who do we have next for the 7th round pick?
Sajid Bayad, the king of Malton, has been picked by Arslan Mia. Again, Arslan going with safe players now. At this point, it's more of familiarity for Arslan.
We're seeing some proven.
Yeah,
Veterans.
proven commodities here.
Yep.
Sajid, not the youngest guy anymore, but plays, like I said, very
Is
safe.
he the one who plays with the goggles?
No, that's
no,
Athasham,
no.
I think you're talking
I
about.
think it was someone else.
No, you're thinking about Fahim
Fahim Kotwal, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Very, you know what? Good comparable.
Very similar, yeah, similar players.
Yeah, okay.
Asad is very nice. In the room, I don't think you can have many guys better than him.
Yeah.
So positive, always smiling. I really like him. He'll make you feel good about it. You'll see him and he'll make you feel good about yourself.
You kind of want that. Honestly, I feel,
Yeah.
especially for the players who are playing second and third round, it's
Yeah.
nice to have that feedback that you're doing the right thing. You know,
I think it's underrated, man.
Yeah, no,
I think it's
100%. I feel
underrated,
like, because think about it, you want your players to feel confident, but you also want them to improve. Like these third and second line guys, they're not just there for cardio, they also want to make that big impact.
I
And they
bet
want
you
to be
anything the
big
next pick is going to be Tayyab. Oh, no, it's not.
Well, who's after
Okay,
Sajid? Who do
okay,
we have?
hold on. Let's not jump the gun here. So next one was Mudassir Hussain. Mazhar picked his brother, Muddy. Oh, Muddy. So I know a little bit of Muddy. Mudassir Hussain gets picked right after Sajid Bayat at 43rd. Mazhar picks his brother Mudassir. They call him Muddy. Muddy, little history on him. Probably one of the greatest players that the community has seen, but he's a little bit past his prime. Very quick, very skilled. Do you have
Can't put the ball in the net.
Can't put
Yep.
the biscuit in the basket.
A battery.
Oh no,
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 we're good.
okay.
What's next?
The next one is Old Faithful.
Old Yeller, as we call him.
Oh, no.
Old
I don't know how that
Faithful,
happened.
Zuhair Fancy.
Now, we're getting the
44.
rumor thinks that Jamal may have made a mistake, and, but you know we do have him. So let's talk about it. We're talking about seventh round. So we're talking about your first second line pick is Zuhair Fancy for these guys. He plays defense, if I'm not mistaken, or is he forward?
You know what? He plays defense, but I think he's been making rumblings about going forward, so I'm not sure.
So the great thing about Zuhair is that he draws a lot of penalties, and the value in that is that your team could end up at least once.
You mean he flops a lot?
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, he's getting Olympic gold medals for it. That's all I know. And you know, he's ensuring that at least once per game you're going to be on the power play. So I mean,
He'll also get himself in the box too.
Oh yeah, but I mean, at the end of the day, like you're throwing away a second round liner to get your first line out to get that core.
He's one of those guys, nicest guy off the floor, which is most of the time. But on the floor, nasty SOB.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
who do we have next?
Next pick is Imran Alvi,
Goalie. So that's
Imran
a
Alvi
fifth
won the
goalie.
championship with.
Someone Alvi's brother?
No. Imran Alvi won the championship with Lukman.
So he's good.
So what's interesting about very good character, they were down and out in the playoffs.
So he's on Lukman's team now this season, and he won.
No. Is he?
Is he?
Yeah, he is. Sorry,
Yeah,
yeah.
he
And
is
he
on
was, and he
Lukman's
won the
team.
championship with them. So I think they were almost out of the playoffs, not looking like they're going to make the playoffs. But then they had a spectacular run, and he was a prime reason why they actually won.
Very nice.
So solid pick here.
And next we have.
Ahmed Labim, 46.
So back-to-back goalies being picked again, and this time that would be the sixth goalie picked up. So there's two goalies left, and what can we say about Mobeen's game?
Mobeen, you know, he's very, I think, enigmatic to me. There was a few years ago where it was like he was the guy. He could steal games.
Yep.
He's standing on his head. Now he's taken a bit of a fall recently. He's considered, I guess, middle of the pack, or maybe even on the lower end of the middle of the pack, if I could say that. The potential there is that if he's comfortable with those guys, all guys that he knows, with Farouk's guidance, maybe he...
You do have a good locker room present with Mobeen as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Who do we have next?
Next is, after many years, he's come back. I think we may have heard of...
Abbas Amarshi.
Abbas Amarshi very good
We
character
played with
guy.
yeah, we played with the
very,
boss.
very good overall player.
I'm surprised he went a bit late.
What does he
No,
play? Is he a forward, a defense?
He's up there in age now.
Oh,
I don't know. Maybe people don't know what he's got, but what he was at that time should have been picked higher for sure.
Yeah, I heard he's playing ice hockey last couple of years.
Is he a forward?
He's played defenseman.
He's playing
played
defense. Okay,
defenseman,
yeah. Nice. And what do we have after that?
Next is 48th, Mohammed Hamoud. Hamoudi picks Ali Murtaza.
There we go. So you remember we talked about the whole Ali Murtaza going and Arif Khan going, and looks like we've got both of them now picked up. What do you think about that, Summit? Both of them in the second. I call it the second line.
They're
pick.
very similar players, mirror players. Both Hab fans. That's all I gotta say. But they were wonderful people. I'm gonna substitute in now for Umer Baksh, who's gonna come in and stay with you guys for the remainder of the draft.
Perfect.
okay.
All right.
We're-
Thanks,
okay.
Summit, and we'll welcome Umer Baksh. He's going to be joining us on the panel here. Good. So, what round did we just complete? Round
6.
round 6.
So we're moving on to round 7 now.
So, Umer, for your sake, right now, what we're doing is that, from our understanding, is that most of these teams have already picked up their entire first line, plus majority of the teams have picked up their goalies. 2 goalies left. We're looking at now rounding out that second line. So, we're trying to figure out where these picks are coming from, and who do we have next?
Okay, starting round 7, Mohammed Hamoudi picks. I think they're related. He's
Brother-in-laws,
Commissioner
brother-in-laws.
League,
It's a little forceful picking. No,
You can see him wearing white gloves at the tournament
Yeah.
presentation. Wakanda forever, Ahmed Ibrahim.
Ahmed Ibrahim. So, what can we say about his game?
He's, we all know the story. He's become very fit the last couple of years, and he's producing.
Yep.
He is pretty fast now. He gets the net and he can finish.
Great speed, power forward.
Power forward. Still, I think he might actually could be a good value pick there.
Oh, amazing
Yeah.
value pick for them, and great character guy in the room. So never at 49, definitely a good pick, and doesn't hurt that they're related. So there's obviously that chemistry, and proven leader in the room as he's our commissioner.
The one thing I'm concerned now is that I find that a lot of these second round picks that are coming in either first or second for most of these teams, they're not picking centermen. Am I wrong here for suggest? Because I feel like there is huge value in making sure that second line, you have a second line centerman to win those faceoffs.
So we know he's a forward, but for a lot of these guys, do we know a guy who's considered a center?
Yeah.
Or we just
Is it going to be a toss in?
Yeah.
People rover in, people rover out.
So you feel like they're
He's
picking
not.
just the best second line player that is available rather than picking someone for their position?
No, but I agree with you. I think there's guys who are actually good at center.
Because I find a lot of times that people end up scrambling where they're like, you play forward, but does anyone play center?
Center, yeah. And a lot of times you don't get a lot of buy-in on the center.
No.
People want to be forwards.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
That's true.
There's always value for center.
Yeah,
There is a lot of
absolutely.
center.
And that's the thing is, I feel like the center, there's no appreciation right now for your second pick, for your second round or second line pick to be a center.
Yeah, look at how the argument was that Marner should not get paid as much as Matthews.
Yeah, 'cause he's a winger.
Was a winger, yeah.
Well, who do we have next for our pick?
Next pick, 50th, Mohammed Ghazi, Team Iman picks Ibrahim Hindi.
Wow, great pick. I think.
Great pick. I mean, he's considered, he should be higher than that, but I guess he hasn't played much recently.
I find
It's
him
a deep draft. It's a
Yeah,
deep draft.
I find he's a quiet player, but he's a point producer at the end of the day. Like he's gonna end up getting that when your team needs it. He'll end up finding that way to either get the assist on the goal or get the goal itself.
I had the pleasure of playing last year with him for most of the season before he was traded.
Yep.
And he's an instant game changer out there
Yep.
as far as playing smart.
He can also play
center
center, by the way. I actually, just to talk about that, he can actually play center.
to your center point.
That's
Yeah,
right.
he
That's
can.
right. Yeah, actually, I was thinking that when you said that. He's
Very-
actually a guy who is considered a center.
Very high hockey IQ, and
IQ, that's
and
the-
very very smart on the ball, and a finisher. He has a great shot, so just speaks to the depth that's going on here right now that he's coming in at 50.
And before we continue on, I want to say this too. Where do you find, in terms of like draft rounds, that you start seeing players not have like the main, like right now you're seeing picks where these are solid players, but there's one or two things you can ask them to improve on. When do you find that picks started losing their hockey IQ?
We're not there yet.
No, but you find out like it's like the last 3 rounds, the last 2 rounds.
I think
Were you picked yet?
Not to say, yeah.
I'm not gonna say when because that might be a
But-
slight to the guy.
Yeah,
but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, but do you find that the teams will value the high hockey IQ over fitness in the later rounds?
People go for fitness first.
Fitness first?
Fitness first, typically.
Yeah.
Because I feel like, I don't know. Well, let's go keep going.
Yeah,
then.
Keep going.
Yeah. So the next pick, I think this is already predetermined, as we mentioned at the top of the broadcast, is Fahad Mohammed at 51st is Farouk Sani's pick.
Yep.
He's the goalie.
That was an automatic because he's helping him.
He's not a goalie. I can speak for. I've played with him a bit as a player. He's been playing a little more not player out recently. He actually has a really good hockey IQ.
Yep.
He gets to the front of the net. He might end up being a good pick. He might end up being outperforming that pick. But right now, as it stands, that's I think.
Do you think
fair
he'll play
place to put him.
center, or do you think he'll
No,
play?
he's a defenseman.
He's a
It's already
defenseman?
it's already been determined.
Okay.
He's D.
I actually rode with him on the way here. He thinks that most likely, depending on how the picks have gone, he could go both ways, but primarily D, as you said.
And who do we have next?
52 is Ali Haroun. I don't know anything about
Ali
him.
Haroun's picked by Lukman's team?
Yeah, I know Ali Haroun very
Yeah.
well.
Okay.
Came in as a rookie last year, first time in the league, but
Young guy?
in his 30s, but
Okay.
very smart. He's a great two-way forward. He's a defensive forward.
Nice.
Blocks some great shots. That's why he's went from being last round or second last round to being in the middle now.
Yep.
Played with Daoud Siamber at times too, so
Wow.
he can.
There's trust. There's
trust. He's lots of stamina and great defensive IQ. So, a great pick for someone who's looking for defense on the defensive forward on deck.
Very nice. It's nice to see players that are, they're entry level. They're picked low because you don't see them often, and then all of a sudden they'll jump 5 ranks up. And who do we have next?
Next is Rizwan Malik at 53. That's
Rizzy
Ajmal.
Riz.
And which GM picked him?
Ajmal picked him. Team Hassan.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's going to be a great team there. Daoud and Rizwan were great last year. I was able to play on the team there for summer league.
Yep.
So obviously Daoud trusts him again and Ajmal, and again looks like a lot of guys from previous season. And Rizwan's a great secondary center.
Yep.
And great hockey IQ.
Yeah.
And a great leader. Immediately makes an impact as a leader.
Yes.
Who do we have next?
Next one is Mazhar Hussein's Team Ikhlas picks Abdullah Patel. Anybody
Okay.
know about? Oh, is Abdullah Patel that younger kid with the beard? Is that? I don't know.
You just described half the
Who
league.
won, who won playoff MVP in the summer league?
Playoff
kid,
MVP.
the kid.
Yeah.
Is that him?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not gonna speak
So
to. No,
we-
that was Khalid. That was someone else.
Okay, so we don't know who Abdullah Patel is.
Abdullah Patel. I'm sure the GM knows him.
We
that's why
wish
he's
Mazhar
picking him.
best luck. We don't know how.
But I think this is the
Yeah.
first time I'm hearing his
Yeah.
name. So the fact that he's being
Yeah.
picked this high,
I'm sure
he's
he
probably-
you
knows.
can
sleeper,
assume
yeah.
that he's either one of those sleeper picks or he's
Yeah.
a pick that they know the depth and
We
and
don't
the
know.
trust.
He knows. He's probably been around
Yep.
the league.
Yeah.
Doesn't.
Okay, now this is the pick that Samad swears should have been way, way higher. He thinks he's a first line player. Tayyib Claire at 55. Arslan Mia picks Tayyib Claire. If Samad is right, this team is running away with this draft.
That's insane.
Because we were saying they were good before this.
This is the
Yeah.
draft where we said
Like
at least
Sajid?
5 in.
Sajid?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, before the Sajid Bayat
Yeah.
pick, we were saying that this team was phenomenal with what they've already had.
Yeah,
They had they had one of the best goalies.
Yeah.
They had one of the best forwards. They had one of the best defensemen.
Yeah.
But now we're looking at having Tayyib Khaler, where I don't know too much about him. You want to give me a little bit of insight?
Someone said he's a quick first line player.
He says that he's a
good.
first line player. He should be a first line player. So we'll see. There's high expectations for him. Samad is typically 50% time wrong. We'll see if this
That's
is one of
the
those
thing.
times.
Probability is always in his favor.
Shouldn't have left
against his
Samad.
favor.
Shouldn't have left.
He's a 50-50.
56th is Ibrahim Khan. That's Ali Wadi's team, Team Taqwa. That'll round out.
I
round
can
six.
speak to Ibrahim Khan very
Yep.
fast.
Ibrahim Khan, the car guy.
BMW boy.
BMW boy,
BMW boy, I call him.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
Hopefully he's known more for his hockey skills.
He's
than
a
nice
very quick and very gritty player. Speed and stamina.
Yep.
Sometimes can just like anyone can he gets sometimes a little ahead of himself. But as far as his stick control, other than that, he's a great
Potential
player.
is there for him. Like,
Potential
he's
is
got
there.
all the tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he's one of those players we're talking about, like he has the cardio and stuff, and now it's just a matter of he's got to fine tune it into a proper
Yeah,
hockey game.
he is a guy they're picking based on the other things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
stamina, great against the wall, and he's won championships. He's been on championship teams over and over, so I think he's looking for a three-peat.
And now it's a back-to-back pick. So who else did they pick up?
Jawad Majid.
So this is Ali Wadi's team.
Ali Wadi's team, yeah.
Yep. And Jawad Majid. Is he? I do believe. I can't remember if he's played in the league past. I just remember there was a Jawad. But any insight onto that?
I don't know anything about him.
Ali
unfortunately.
Ali with the
wish
sure
we
does
wish
know him.
we wish Ali the best of luck.
And not to say that because we don't know them, it's not a matter of we don't think these are bad picks. It's just a matter of a lot of these GMs have insight into players that they've played with personally or that they've seen the progress with, which is why we're seeing these players get picked higher up in the draft.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I believe that's how many rounds did we just complete? 8 rounds.
Yeah.
So what are we seeing right now? Are we seeing? I'm assuming at this point in time, I think there's 1 or 2 goalies left. Two teams haven't picked the goalies.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think there's
1, 2 teams that haven't.
2 teams that have not picked up goalies yet. So with that said, and we're 8 rounds in, so these goalies are probably at this point in time, it's almost like a game of chicken because if you don't pick a goalie, if the next team picks up a goalie, then at that point in time, the other team can wait till their last pick to pick up a goalie. Okay. Or what we can also say that at this point is that both teams value that both those goalies are equal, and they'll wait till the very end to pick them up.
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So hitting up next pick, Zulkarnain Imtiaz.
Yeah.
Unknown to me, but I'm sure he's played.
I've seen him play not last season, but the season before. If it's the same player I'm thinking of, like I said, I think this is he's picked where he's picked for a reason. I think there's potential for growth in his game, but at the same time, it's one of those players where I do believe he has produced points in the past, and now it's just about consistency and making sure he can hold that second line. And you never know with such when you don't have that many players playing this season. What you're going to see is a lot of these players not show up, and some of these players who are on the second and third line end up being pushed to the first line to prove what they can do.
Right. Okay, the next pick is Ajmal picks Abdu Sharqui at 60.
Very nice. So this is, like I said, this is second line player. Abdu is known for having the passion, and he is a locker room presence, but he still has a pretty solid game. He is a point producer.
He's a great overall player.
I think he's got a great game, and before we switched over to this rink, I think there's around that time, he was starting to really show that he's got a really good mind for the game. He had good skills. I think maybe the smaller rink is not as effective.
I know. I actually think. I think the one thing in terms of weakness is cardio and obviously like that full
Abdul's
speed.
got a decent cardio.
Decent cardio, but I think this is why he's second. I think this is a perfect area where he's picked right now. He's on the second line, and I think his presence on that second line will make sure that he rallies his
veteran
troops.
presence. He's great
rallies
guy in the
troops.
room, and never a bad pick. Again, looks like Daoud and Ajmal are picking great character guys, and that's Daoud and Ajmal's tendencies.
Yep.
And they look more at
and they won last year because
leadership.
of that, right?
Oh yeah.
There you go.
And so that's their philosophy.
And who do we have next?
The next pick, Lukman Arshad's Team Haya picks Abdul Nafia Zuberi. I know Abdul. Do you guys?
He's played 2 seasons ago.
Taller young kid.
Yep.
Go ahead.
I don't have too much insight into him, but
I played with him. I think there's a lot of potential there.
Yep.
He is
Defenseman, correct?
He played defense, but he can play. We started putting him at forward. I think he might be better.
Does he have glasses?
Yeah, glasses.
Yes.
He's a good player.
Curly
Yeah,
hair.
he's a good player.
Yeah, he's as a forward. It's starting to look better as a forward. He could be a good pick there.
At 61, that's
At
a
61,
steal.
could be a steal.
He's a great player.
So next pick, Farouk Sani went with K-Tak Kashif Takuddin at 62.
Now, I personally think Kashif is old. Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, is this?
No.
Do you feel?
I think you're not going to be in the league next year.
No, K-Tak can play. K-Tak can
K-Tak
play.
can
play. No,
The
he's
question
a
is
good
about, I don't know about the injuries and stuff, but when he's on, I think he's still got a lot of talent.
Oh yeah.
I'm a fan.
Knows how to play.
There's a
senior
risk
guy,
there.
been
There's
around for a long time.
injury prone, right?
Injury prone, yeah. And he's
Who isn't, man? After 30.
Very true.
Okay, next pick. You want to announce the next pick?
Who I can't see her.
No,
Who's
why
it?
don't you announce
At
it?
63, Muhammad Qazi picks Abdul-Wahab Muhammad.
Which is you.
Yeah.
Now, like I said, I think.
Why the hell did he do that?
Let's go to the next one.
No, a little bit of insight.
let's speak
I
to
think,
Wahab.
I think, like I said, you've GM'd and you've played in the past, and you've shown that you do have that locker room present. But we've seen it, and I've done a lot of video footages, and I've seen your game, and honestly, you do have accuracy. Because you're short, a lot of players think that we'll take it.
Deceivingly speedy.
You're deceivingly speedy, but you also have a very wicked backhand, I'd say.
Okay. I'll
From what I've seen,
I've played with Wahab for almost 8-10 years now, and he's
gritty too. What did you say?
Yeah. He can get in the
I've seen him
corners.
get angry.
I've seen him try to get in.
He smiles when he's off.
Lukman especially gets.
Oh yeah, I've seen the amount of times I've seen Lukman and oh man.
Yeah, no man. Again, looks like Sonny's going for experience and guys who are good around the locker room.
Yes. Mohammad Qazi, yeah.
Oh yeah, looks like a great group of guys for the locker room.
Yeah. Who do we have next?
64th is Mohammed Hamoud to round out round 8 is Amr Hanif. We know we didn't. You want to say? I can say.
You go for it.
Amr Hanif is dependable player. He's I wouldn't say he's amazing at anything, but he can get the job done. He might actually be a good pick there. He's a good overall player. Maybe there's some other factors at play here, but good pick.
And they do have back-to-back picks. So who else did they pick up?
They picked
there?
at 65. Well-known. I think Osama Rao.
Yep.
Fast, right? Want to talk about him?
Very fast, young, dependable. Comes to the rink every day. Gets in the corners. Very gritty and very good defensively. So
you want fast guys at this point, where like even though they may not have that finish or that like the complete game package,
he can play second line, third line on any team.
But you're also wearing down the other team because of your speed. That's the great thing. Like these fast second line picks are wearing down the other team.
The intangibles of what makes certain guys great don't show up on the score sheet, and that's the case with Osama Rao. Playing with him, playing against him, he's been a great person, and he's a great team player. So. Obviously great pick.
Nice.
Okay, next pick, 66th, Mohammad Qazi picks Dawood Habib.
I don't know anything about him.
Good luck with that.
So it is. What are we on? This is round.
This is round 9.
So again,
this is 9 of 13.
9 of 13, yes.
9 of 13.
Mohammad Qazi might know something we don't, as Mohammad Qazi knows guys outside the league.
Yeah, I mean,
guy could be
one of these guys could be like the talk of the league, right? That we don't know. He just knew that he wouldn't be picked anytime soon. So,
all right, let's go.
Next pick, 67, Mohammed Obaid. Farouk Sani picks Mohammed Obaid. Don't know much about him.
I played with Obaid last season. He was someone who came out of nowhere, unsung hero on our team. Really helped us with a lot of assists and timely goals.
Was he a defense or was he a forward?
Is he the young guy with the beard?
Yes,
timely
goals. Very, very, very
That's
smart.
A great pick, man.
Very, very smart player.
Forward player?
Oh yeah,
I'm a big fan of him.
I got a chance to play with him on lines and very smart
he's so
player.
Crafty.
He's very crafty.
He's so unpredictable.
He doesn't have to be the fastest guy there, but he's gritty and he gets in the corners and he'll size up against bigger guys and he scored some really clutch goals for us when we won that season last year, and
good pick there.
Unsung hero award for him as well.
Yeah.
So obviously great pick at 6-7.
Yeah, very nice. All right, what do we have
next one is Umer Syed. Lukman Arshad picks Umer Syed. Team Hayat. Umer Syed.
I remember Umer Syed. I haven't seen him play in the last season or so, but I do remember his name. I don't know too much about him myself.
Right.
Do you guys?
No, not too much.
I mean, we'd be lucky to know some of these names now. Ajmal picks 69, Tariq Baksh.
You know what? It's funny. So this is Dawood's team, all right? This is with Ajmal and Dawood. Yes. I feel like, and if I may be completely wrong here, but I feel like this is Tariq Baksh. I feel like this is the pick that they wanted before they picked you, Umer. Because they saw Umer books and they're like, oh, that must be Tariq Baksh.
Yeah.
And that was the pick they originally wanted.
Tell them? Yeah.
Honestly, but let's remember this: that you just came from a championship win, so that does show that
congrats, man.
Thank you.
I didn't know you were on the team.
That was Dawood's team as well. Yeah. So you never know. He might have picked Baksh, and next round he might be picking Books.
Okay.
So
So Mazhar Hussain, Team Ikhlas picks Adam Mufta at 70.
Adam Mufta, I'm not too sure about this.
No.
Okay, next one, Arslan Mia picks, I think at this point, a really good value pick. Yakin picks 71, Fazel Takur. Should not have gone 71.
Fazel is a defenseman?
Yeah.
Strong defenseman. Fuzzy.
I can tell you everything about Fuzzy. Maybe this is what he needs, is that it's all up here for Fuzzy. Fuzzy is a huge student of the game. No one will have studies the game more than him, is more passionate about the game.
Yeah.
But I think he maybe gets into his own head a little bit.
Yeah.
He needs to not think too much and just go out there and be more instinctive. I think I literally could see the gears of hear the gears of his brain turning when he's got the ball.
Yeah.
He's overthinking either he does a little too little or too much. It's all up here, Fuzzy.
So who do we have next?
Next one is Ali Wadi. Same goes for me too. I think the same advice. Ali Wadi picks 72, Imran Lakanpal, I believe.
Yep. Familiar playing with them, absolute insane shot.
And skilled too, but
skilled.
he
Very
doesn't
skilled
move,
guy.
doesn't go for it.
No.
Maybe the speed isn't
He
there,
was-
but
The speed-
he,
but listen,
he will
yeah.
dangle like
With
no one else.
cardio, he'd be much higher.
With
from the draft.
exactly. I agreed. With cardio, he'd be a lot higher. And I think this is the point where I think for that pick, though that late, is that you picked up a player that late who still has a shot. I think.
So give you guys a little heads up. The summer champion. He was on my team.
Yep.
Yeah.
Big contributor in D, especially when
Yeah.
guys were
Yep.
missing.
Yeah.
And very hard. He plays very hard and plays. He plays a very aggressive game.
Yep.
And teams are going to want that. As long as he's not busy with
Imran
work
you're
or
talking
anything.
about?
Yeah, Imran
Okay.
Lakapal. As long as he's not busy, if he's there, he's at the
Yeah,
games.
yeah,
Which
yeah.
last season he was. Always a great contributor.
Good character, very good character.
Yeah,
guy.
great guy in the locker room as well.
Yeah, he's very calm. He's
I think we're going to start going with more players that we're not going to see as much finish in terms of their shots, but
Yeah.
they're all going to be still contributing in other ways at this point in
Yes.
time. And so this is back-to-back picks as well. Who do they have?
Ahsan Wasim.
Okay, so
any, I don't know.
nope.
No,
No,
Hassan
okay.
Wasim goes 73 to Taqwa.
Taqwa.
Yeah, and that's Ali Wadi's team.
Arslan Miaz, Team Yakin picks Umer Ashraf at 74. We know Umer, really a good guy.
Yep.
Really good person.
Well, okay, he may be personable, but what about his hockey game?
His hockey game is good too. I didn't mean that as some sort of backhanded compliment. He's a good player. He's a really good guy. He's probably has things to work on. Anybody picked at this point.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think everyone at this point needs to has something to work on.
Fitness probably, but maybe I could say maybe fitness will help him.
Yep.
That's one thing comes to mind. Next one is this guy Muslim. I just want to make that joke today. I had that with Abrar Ganga too. I just want to make a joke with that. I'm sure he is. And Mazhar Hussain, Team Ikhlas picks Imran Singh.
Oh, very nice. So
I don't know who he is.
We don't know.
great name.
Yeah, great name.
But you never know. Like at the same point in time, you're right. Like these are players who probably filled out the roster form. They've indicated what their skill level may be, and at this point in time, it's
They're probably in other leagues. Everyone knows.
I think everyone knows everyone somewhere. So this could very well be a sleeper pick, and only time will tell.
Yes.
Yeah.
Next one is Ajmal Ismatiyar's Team Ehsan picks 76 Khizr Lakampal.
I played with
Is that
Kizzer.
Imran's brother?
That's Imran's cousin.
Cousin? Okay.
That's Imran and Saqib's
I
cousin.
think-
He's young, fast, plays great defense. Just good, decent overall player.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's always some little holes in everyone's game at this point, but
Yeah.
great young kid with lots of potential.
Right.
And who do we have next?
Next, Luqman Arshad's Team Haya picks at 77 Imran Syed.
Not too much information on my end.
Hopefully,
So,
that's something unique coming out of him.
this-
Exactly. I think a lot of these picks now, some of these are going to be unknown, and we do apologize in advance. Is that we
Yeah.
are going to have to go over them quickly because especially the GMs are starting to roll through the list, and they're already on the second round. So there's not much information on a lot of these players, but if we do, we will talk about
The next
it.
couple we can say, I think. At 78, Farooq Sani picks, Team Rida picks Ali Malik.
Okay.
He is, I think, one of the younger Maliks, right?
I think I
Ali
remember
Malik, yeah. So I think this might be, if that's Ali Malik, I'm thinking the younger, smaller guy.
He's good.
He's good. He's good. That could
think
be a steal pick. Maybe he was forgotten, but then at the same time,
I think he hasn't been there for a while.
His cousins didn't pick him. Maybe there's
Maybe
he's gonna miss
tendency
games.
issues. Maybe there'll be a tendency
Maybe
issues.
yeah. There's I don't know.
Malik's no
Family
Maliks,
Feud,
right?
who knows? I don't know.
Also, a lot of these
Yeah.
picks sometimes go a little bit lower because of their availability. Some
That's
of these
right.
players are not
That's right. We don't know.
available.
We don't have privy to that information. So
I'm going on vacation next week, but other than that, I'm good.
that's why you've got.
That's why we haven't seen Umer picked yet.
So the next pick on my team is Muhammad Qazi is Azim Siddiqui.
Oh, great.
Is Azim?
Azim, same guy, Azim Siddiqui. Been playing the league for a long
Oh
time.
yeah, Azim. Yeah. Azim is the one year he had that really good year. 'Cause he was a little more in shape or whatever.
He
He's got
played
good-
last year. I haven't seen him for a couple
really
years,
Good,
but he
really
played
good
last
guy. Fitness, I guess, is one thing with him.
Fitness is good.
but he's got very skilled.
Yep.
Good shot too.
Good shot.
Next.
Next one to round out round 10.
Imad Hussain, media team.
Yep, Mohammed
Imad Hussain. These are one of those players like we were talking about where availability might play a huge
Oh, yeah,
factor.
he travels for work. or
He
something.
travels for work, so a lot of times he ends up missing anywhere
But he's a
between.
good player.
Yeah, a good player. But at the end of the day, when you're missing 3 to 5 games, your team is looking at trying to make the playoffs at the very least. You might want that reliability and consistency, especially because the roster depth is not as big this year. So you want to make sure that at least you have players who can show up, just so that the cardio level and that you can keep your stamina up.
This next pick, okay, I don't understand why he's drafted this low.
Could
Mohammed Hamoud, round 11, pick 81, picks Faisal Mahbub. Faisal Mahbub produces. I don't understand why he's that low. He should have got higher than me, at least. I don't know.
But I think this goes back to what Umer was saying, where there's a lot of depth in this league
There's
at this
no
point.
bad players here.
Maybe,
Right?
maybe there's availability.
You're not getting a player where it's like you have to have all your other players like surround that player to get over that whatever hump there is. At least right now, you gotta don't get me wrong. We still have 2 more rounds after this round, but yeah.
Okay, next pick, 82. Muhammad Qazi picks Ali Mahmoud.
I know Ali Mahmoud.
Okay.
Actually, his first time in this league, but he's brothers of Umer Mahmoud, who came in, and I've grown up with these guys. Ali is a very tall, very strong defensive D.
Okay.
And he'll be a really good force on defense there.
He's a sleeper pick there?
He's definitely a sleeper pick.
Yeah.
I played with him.
Where should he have gone?
No, you don't know, man. Again, it's a deep draft, and it might take him a year or a season to get used to Islam hockey. But
you don't want to make a
no,
call
but his brother came in. His brother came in and played a big part in the team last year. So I played hockey with these guys for a long time. He's a good player. He has really good hockey IQ. It's a great pick.
Okay, Fruksani at 83 picks Abdul Mateen Muhammad. I'm guessing,
I don't have any info on Abdul Mateen.
Good name, great name. I can't say much more than that.
Omar Den, who's the next pick for
Omar Den,
Team Haya, which is Lukman. Omar Den also can play center, so we're looking at third line centermen here.
Actually, Omar Dean played great D. He was a great D pair with Omar Asawi last year on the championship team. So Omar Dean was a great player last year for us in that championship team.
Okay.
Played D, played lots of minutes.
These are all good players that we're seeing. It's just a lot of the times at this point you're not looking at point producers. You're just making sure you're looking at reliability.
Good character people in the room.
Good character and good reliability. They might not be producing points, but you can bet they're going to make sure that no points are scored on them when they're on.
Definitely.
Okay, next pick is I think this is availability thing here. Saqib Sheikh. Ajmal Smith here picks Saqib Sheikh at 85. I think he's probably not available, right? I can't. There's no way he. Oh no, I'm thinking Saqib Coker, man.
No.
Saqib Sheikh is. Do we know him?
Yeah, Saqib Sheikh.
Saqib's back.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Saqib got married. I think he took a little bit of time off. He's back. Okay, we all love Saqib.
Could be the marriage. Could be the marriage weight that maybe made him go down to 85.
Or maybe Nazem Kadri got traded. His boy. I think that.
He's he's a good. He plays center.
Yeah.
He's a great forward.
Okay. The next pick, 86, Mazhar Hussain picks Adnan Hashmi. I think I know Adnan Hashmi. Do you guys know who that is? The older gent,
I think so.
man?
I think so.
Yeah, the older gent. He knows how to play.
The shorter guy.
No. He's average height, older guy, I believe.
Okay.
If I'm correct. He's good. He's very good hands. Good
Reliable.
player. Reliable.
Bilal Ahmed.
Bilal Ahmed goes at 87th for Arslan Mia. Bilal Ahmed, we all know, does Milan and Bilal. If anything, a lot of blessings for that team.
And blessings can go a long way. They can honestly can make or break your team for all we know.
For sure. No. And then at 88,
Hannan, you want to
Ali
see
Wadi picks the great, the talented Hannan Ghafoor.
Most of my skill happens off the rink. So
Hannan Ghafoor. I think that I'm not just saying that because it's sitting beside me. I think Hannan Ghafoor should go higher than 88. He is a very good, consistent player.
As I'm the person who brought him in this league, he's a very good player. He plays great. He's a great two-way forward, and he plays great defense as well.
Right.
I think he's going to be a great pickup for Ali Wadi and Hannan. Do you even know Ali Wadi?
I probably talked about them during the H reports, but a lot of the names are familiar. It's just like faces or not. But the one thing I want to talk about quickly is because with my pick, because it is back to back, and I believe is that Amr Wasif who's also picked.
Yes, Amr Wasif was the next pick.
I played with Amr Wasif, so I can talk a little bit about him.
Is he first time in the league?
No. Okay. He's I think this is his probably the third or fourth season.
Yeah.
Honestly, great guy as well. I think there is a lot of potential. I think he has a lot of good stick handling capabilities. It's one of those things where, like myself, I would say is that you have a player that's reliable. It's just you want to make sure that they work on their finish, because if they work on their finish, I guarantee you there could be a lot of point production happening. Both players, I imagine, be playing forward, but you never know. A lot of players show versatility. I know I've been playing defense a few times here and there. I don't want to tell anyone that because I don't want to do it, but. Who do we have next then? And like I said, now we're moving into into the. This is the second last round, by the way.
Yes.
Twelfth round.
The next pick in the second last round, round 12, Arslan Mia picks. Oh wow! Another
The infamous
two members of our
Samad.
panel picked in the last 3 picks. Samad Hamidi.
So you can tell our panel's not known for their hockey honors. We're more known for what we know around the rink.
Yeah.
But it looks like it's Samad who's picked. Like I said, another defenseman.
He's good player.
The one thing I would say is that I've actually never been a fan of his game. But no, let me say this. I didn't play last season, and honestly, and I don't say this sarcastically. I've heard nothing but praise for Samad's game last season.
Really?
He was.
Is he on D still?
I think he was on. I
Because
assume
I've
he's
seen
on
him play
defense.
forward recently too.
But apparently, like it's just the fact that he really gets in there. Like he's not afraid. He'll block shots.
He goes into the corners.
He goes into the
rough.
corners,
Yeah.
and that's what you want. You want that gritty player, and I think Samad's game is improving slowly. I know, hopefully, he just, sky's the limit at this point for the guy.
Yes. Now, the next pick. Is this our first three-name person? First one. Syed Talha Iftikhar at 91.
Not unknown to me.
Unknown to me, but like I said, at this point in
Yeah.
time, these could be
Could be
very well
next month.
sleeper picks.
Looks like month,
Yeah.
you know.
Mazhar picked a lot of guys that are from outside.
Ajmal next picks 92. Wissam Isawi. I think you guys know him.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the name's familiar, but I don't
Wissam
think I've ever played on
Isawi.
his team.
Okay. The next pick then, Lukman at 93 picks Mohammed Qureshi.
Like I said, for me, not much I can dive into there.
Yep. Next one, 94, Misbah Siddiqui. Farooq Sani picks Misbah Siddiqui.
At 94.
Yeah, at this point, I think they're just looking at how cool the name sounds.
But they're probably actually looking at the, everyone
Or
fills out those
Facebook-
forms.
Facebook,
You fill out
yeah.
those forms. You look at their Facebook profile.
Oh, for sure. For sure. Or these days called
LinkedIn,
Instagram,
see what kind of
Instagram.
hookups you can get if they're playing on your team.
Yeah. The next one is Muhammad Qazi at 96 picks 95 picks Samir Lakanpal.
So we
Maybe
have-
related to Imran.
Maybe
100% related.
100% related.
Campaigning for you.
Okay, next pick. Always back. Muhammad Hamoud picks his boy Frosty Ali at 96 to round out round 12.
Who's that pick?
Muhammad Kandwala, I'm guessing.
Okay, so both of those are back-to-back picks for Hamoudi's team.
Yeah.
Um,
Mohamed Kandwala, that's the 97th pick for.
I really like the fact they're doing going 13 deep, like you said. It's like more playing time for people.
Yep. And a lot of these unknown names, we're going to find out a lot about them this
Yeah.
season, and it's going to help build their profiles
Yeah.
going forward. And a lot of players don't know where they are. Like you said, we've had players who were drafted last or second last,
Yeah.
and then next season, all of a sudden, they bumped up 5 rounds.
Did they pick this guy Hannan before?
They did pick on him for it.
Not quite sure.
The thing is that I think Umer Bakshi is going to prove a lot of people wrong this year. 'Cause
No,
he's
I love
already-
it. No, I love
He's
it.
already going pretty low.
I love it.
He's
Hey, he
gonna-
might end up on Dawood's line. Dawood might have like.
I've plugged him.
Yeah.
I'm.
He
Okay,
just
the
need-
lower expectations.
What people don't know is he's got that one shot that no goalie can defend. He hasn't perfected it, but he hits it off the back glass.
Let's.
Back
What's
wall.
the next step? What's the next pick we got there?
It's personal. Next pick is Yusuf Abdus-Samad. I wonder if this is like we've seen a few Abdus-Samad. I wonder if it's Samad
There's a lot
who's
of
just gonna
Samads.
like
A new family- a new
No,
family.
he's just gonna come in different. He'll be the same guy.
Same guy. He signed up 4 different times.
I don't know. Yusuf Abdus-Samad, great name. Can't say much more than that.
And like I said, with not that many players.
At this point, I mean, not to sound mean, but
Thanks.
you're just hoping to pick a guy. No.
But
just-
we sign out the forms, right? Like each player signs out that form where it indicates
Yeah.
your skill level and stuff, right?
Yeah.
So you're hoping that you're hoping that like the kids didn't lie on there.
Yeah.
I mean, on my
last
form,
year, Ali Haroun was picked last round.
Yeah.
And he proved to be quite.
There you go.
quite a player.
I think on my form I wrote I was like 8 foot tall.
No, you want to go with what you know at this point.
13
This-
players.
You're
are definitely
100 right here.
No, I don't.
Wait, who's number 99?
100.
Sorry, who do we have number 99 that was playing?
99.
Mohsen Mehboob is
Mohsen
Faisal. Mohsen Mehboob. He's Faisal.
Oh,
Mehboob's
yeah,
brother.
he played last year.
He's-
Did he
yeah,
play a couple
yeah.
years ago?
Well, he's been playing for a couple of years. He's
Okay.
he's Faisal Mehboob's brother.
Yeah.
I've played with him. I played against him. He's a great. He can play second line minutes. He can play
Really?
third line minutes.
He's got 99. See,
No,
there
he's
you
a
go.
good,
Still
he's a
lot
good
of
player.
still talent.
Mohsen Mehboob. Faisal Mahmoud's brother. He's a good grind. He knows he plays a good grind.
We only have, looks like we have 5 more picks left. We're just waiting for pick number 100 to go through. But right now, just as we wait for that.
Any thoughts on the teams, guys, just before we see the picks coming?
And that's what I'm saying. I think the strongest team that we thought in the beginning was Yaqeen, which was Arslan Mian's team, where, he drafted very very deep he had in terms of the draft picks that he's got. But it's hard to tell at this point because you have to dissect each team in terms of what they picked up and where they expect to play these players, if they're playing forward or defense. So you never know at this point in time.
Okay, so Lukman chose Umer Khan number 100.
And then
not too sure about that.
At 101 Dalmatians, Omar Baksh.
Hey,
we're back.
The dog of Iceland. The hound of justice, as they call it.
There you go. I think
Is it my fault? Everyone's just smaller.
A lot of players who are on the waiting list should thank Umer because they're able to play because of all the players he's injured.
Jakar Chaudhry.
I just want to say this: Umer did end up on Dawood's team, so you can see that is a champions team there. Dawood is picking a lot of players
Yusuf
that he ended up with.
Saqib. These are really popular, fun guys.
So here, I just go down the list of Dawood's team here. He's picked a lot of guys that we won with last season. Rizwan, the goalie Yusuf, who was amazing. Dawood's there. Ajmala, obviously, as the captain, is a great leader. And Abdu, it looks like a great group of guys that he's put together.
So was Abdu on the team before as well, or no?
Abdu, no, but...
No. So right now, from what it sounds like, there's 5 players from the original team that won last season that's on this current team.
No.
Okay, and we got a few last picks there. Let's just go over them.
It looks like there's an Abdus Samad family that's all signed up together because this is the 3rd entry. Dawood Abdus Samad. There's Yusuf.
I think we missed someone after.
Jakar Chaudhry.
Yeah, was picked 102.
Jakar Chaudhry, 102.
He was on Mazhar Hussein's team.
Okay, so you know him. Okay.
Well, no, I'm just saying he's picked.
Okay, and then a great name here, Aliuddin Muhammad goes for Ali Wadi's team at 104.
Oh, and Doc.
Oh, and then Doc is like an extra pick.
Naveed Mohammed, Doc.
105.
He's number 105. He goes to Ali Wadi's team.
Yeah, good guy.
So rounding out, guys, looks like the draft is complete. The GMs are thoroughly exhausted from thinking of what to do, and obviously the depth is won in the later rounds. So let's see. What do you guys think? Who looks? Arslan Mian, Hannan, you said Arslan Mian looks like he's drafted a good team.
Yeah, definitely. I think Arslan Mian.
Arslan Mian is a good one.
We do a quick review over Hamoudi.
Farouk picked well. Farouk picked well. I wasn't expecting any less. I don't know if he hit it out of the park, but he picked pretty good.
I think he picked what he's familiar with.
At the end of the day,
Fahad
it's a big team. It's a big, could be a very physical. Because Iceland seems to be picking up in its physicality. That's what everyone's been saying. If that team decides to play physical, they're gonna be hard to deal with. It's a big team. And then you have little guys, skill guys like Muhammad Abaid. So do you see any other teams that stand out like Arslan's does? There's Farouk's team looks pretty good.
Gonna be biased. My team looks pretty good.
There's some. I don't know.
Rizwan Hassan was a bit of a reach. I think personally, Rizwan Hassan was a bit of. He's not at that level. He's good. I don't think he's at that level.
Rizwan Hassan, which team?
That's my team. My team looks okay.
Okay, so don't start a rift in your team.
I think Salman Khalid could have gone a little higher. He's a very good player. Kadam Motiwal, I heard good things about him.
Well, it's pretty much the second round. The first round was determined yesterday, so therefore he pretty much was in the first round of the draft, right?
Yeah.
So Salman Khalid, great defenseman. If you take a look at
the Malik team, I see the teams that kind of picked their guys, like the team that picked all the Maliks, and the team like Ali Wadi that picked all their guys.
So I think
on paper maybe not as flashy, but we've seen teams like that outperform their.
So I think we'll just close with this. It looks like the draft was familiar faces wins the teams, and chemistry is something that is important, and looks like guys chose people who they're comfortable with, and time will tell if that chemistry builds or we look to see some massive trades coming down.
That's true.
But looks like a deep draft, and everyone seems to gel with a lot of the core group that they picked, and hey man, time will tell. We'll see what happens.
Perfect. Thank you, Umer. Thank you, Wahab, and we're signing off, and we'll see you guys next Friday, inshallah.